we will end with a bang with Sota Yoneda, impacts of coeducational schools and single-sex educational schools on students' academic performances and career choices. I've been looking forward to this one. Go for it.
Hi, my name is Sota Yoneda. My research topic will be the impact of coeducational schools and single-sex educational schools on students' academic performances and career choices. And also, my mentor is Professor Winner from sociology classes that I attended out of West Coast College here. So please shout out to my professor. So, as an education major, I'm so interested in educational reform in my country, Japan, in the future. So one of my big dreams is to create like a new schools or new educational system in Japan, because right now in my country, Japan, Japanese education is so organized in terms of like rigid, what it's called, curriculum system, and like it is a good thing, but at the same time, it is so test driven, very test driven in the educational system. I just want to change it because in the educational system we can find it easier to follow the curriculum in the same framework, but at the same time it's pretty hard for me to find my own genuine passion and interest. So one of my dreams once again is to create a new system or educational system in my country, Japan, to so that I can encourage many students to find their own interest or passion along the way toward their future. So with that in mind, my research question is going to be: so what is the impact of school gender composition on student success or student academic performance in general? So to do that, I want to focus on the school type, meaning I researched on the difference between co-educational school and single-sex educational school in Japan. So literature review. I used the 3 articles in total when it comes to the literature review. The first article that I looked at was the girls' academic achievements, single-sex, and co-educational schools in Australia. It is not necessarily, it is not coming from the Japanese research in general, but I just looked at it, based on the specific idea that I wanted to aim for. So in this research, the main finding was the girls in all girls high school performed better academically, especially they took advantage of the what is called standardized academic test. And the girls who went to all girls high school performed better in terms of the score they had. The second article that I looked at was the who goes there, the choice of single sex and co-educational high schools. They actually had, in terms of the main finding that they have, the main finding was actually exactly the same as the previous article that we looked at. Once again, the girls in all girl high school performed pretty better compared to those who went to like a single-sex educational school, co-educational school. But interestingly, one of the interesting finding from this article, from the second article, was the boys who went to the all boys high school did worse compared to the girls who went to all girls high school. So that was one of the interesting findings that I had in this article. So the last article that I had was the effects of single-sex secondary schooling on women's choice of college major. So the main finding, once again, from this article was the girls in all-girl high school tend to major in STEM field. So they took advantage of the survey research in the article, and then they found that girls in all girl high school tend to major in STEM field instead of like non-STEM major. So the methodology that I used. So for the data collection, I took advantage of the survey research in my independent research. So this is once again the inductive research, meaning that I didn't have a specific hypothesis for the research. Instead of which I just wanted to make sure that I have the general idea of the difference in that general idea of like the impact of difference in school type on the students' academic performance in general. So for example, for the target population that I aimed for was the TOEFL seminar. It is like a cram school, or we call it, Japanese people call it juku in my country, Japan. Let me delve into this concept a little bit. Here, a cram school or juku is something that we don't have in the States, I think. I couldn't come up with like a direct translation into the English, but I just use cram school. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but just to make it clear, juku or cram school is like after school or additional academic institutional where students go there, where students go to receive like additional academic instruction. Because as I said before, because Japanese education is so test driven, so many students work hard to get into like the dream colleges and stuff. So the entrance exam is so important in Japanese education, especially when it comes to students are trying to get into a dream school or dream colleges in general. So the juku or cram school works better or works perfect, do a good job in terms of providing students with the additional instruction or test preparation for college exams. So for the sampling method, I use the snowball sampling. So for those who haven't heard about this, snowball sampling is like a non-probability sample method where the existing participant or subject recruit the new subject or participants based on the network. So I actually, as far as I'm concerned, I actually went to the TOEFL seminar when I was in high school. So I already had a network I already had a network of the director or tutors that they had in the TOEFL seminar at the time. So I reached out to one of the directors there and the two tutors. So one of my friends works there too as a tutor. So I reached out to them and saying that I wanted to do independent research there. So I just wanted to make sure that my survey research get distributed in the TOEFL seminar that I attended. So the composition of the research, the survey research was I was able to collect 23 answers in total in the survey research. I wish I could have like more participants in total to make sure so that I can generalize my topic, but because I wanted my research to be Japanese specific. It was pretty hard to collect many participants in general. The TOEFL seminar once again at Cram School Juku. Because now that I'm studying abroad in Japan, in the States, it was pretty hard to communicate with the TOEFL seminar or the director that I reached out to at the time. I was reaching out to them via email, Slack, all the stuff that I had at the time. So to be specific, so I had 23 answers in total. So within that, 18 of the answers from the students was coeducational, while 5 of them go to the single-sex educational school. And also 4 girls school and 1 all-boys school. So I wish I could once again have like a more all-boys school, students to make sure that I can actually generalize my topic for the research. So when it comes to survey research, I listed some of the questions so that I can do the research. So the first one, the reason for choosing the current schools, resources available at the current school, potential major that you have, GPA, ACAN grade, academic level, parents or guardians, demographic questions, and so on. The finding. So coeducational, for those who are attending the coeducational school, the GPA of 2 to 2.9 accounts for 16%, while GPA of 4 or above accounts for 50% in total. So for those who are attending the single-sex educational school, it was pretty interesting that they were, no students who got a 2 to 2.9 GPAs. And also GPA of 4 accounts for 66.7%. So the next is A-Gain grade. A-Gain is like a standardized English test that is often used in my country, Japan. So A-Gain grade 1, which is the second highest one. The highest grade is grade 1. So the next one is grade 1. The grade 1 count for about 53% in total. While in single-sex educational school, there were no students who got A-Gain grade 1. So the other resources that they had in the school, they had after-school support and English classes with native teachers. So the coeducational schools was pretty ample with English classes with native teachers. For the single-sex educational school, after-class support was pretty common in there, while English classes with native speakers was a little bit, less ample compared to the one that we had, compared to the coeducational school. So the final sum up. So for the GPA, single-sex educational school performed better in terms of the GPA, while for the 18th grade, coeducational school performed better. Analysis and development. So for the higher GPA, so in my opinion, it comes from the more access to after-grade support in the current school that they go to, while the higher 18th grade, higher English grade, comes from the more exposure to what's called practical English opportunities that they had in the school, meaning the English classes with native speakers. So let me really spend time for the dialogue with literature review. So the first finding does not necessarily come from the difference in school type. It more like available resources in the school or how the students actually take advantage of them. So the next finding that I have from the literature review, I think it's pretty hard to conclude in my opinion, because due to the small number of subjects that I had in the survey research. So the conclusion and future research. So the conclusion, that we can see the difference in students' academic performance in general. It is, in my opinion, coming from the differences in available resources that they had in school or how they actually take advantage of them. So it's not necessarily based on the gender composition of the school, because based on the available resources in the school, they can actually take advantage of them so that they can improve their academic skill. So for the future research, I will definitely expand my subject of research, as you can tell, so the more pool of single-sex educational school especially. And also, I do want the variety of school type, meaning that I want to aim for the differences between private and public school in my country, Japan. So I'll definitely do that. So for the additional resources, I put out the QR code for this. That's so that you can take a photo of it, and you can just go into the survey that I actually distributed to the ground school that I attended. So there's a Japanese style and English style as well, so you can take a look at it. So thanks for listening once again. So the topic is going to be impact of coeducational school and single-sex educational school on students' academic performances and career choices. So my mentor, Mr. once again, to big shout out to them, shout out to her, and thanks so much for listening.